I was standing barefoot in a hotel hallway when my phone buzzed, salt still clinging to my skin. A cold drink sweating in my hand. I recognized the sound before I processed the words, the hollow echo of my own living room. Picked up by a security camera I'd installed years ago and nearly forgotten. Then her laugh sliced through the audio. Once everything's inside, my daughter-in-law said, light and careless, she won't make a scene. She's old. She'll just accept it. Her mother laughed with her. I heard furniture scraping, boxes hitting the floor, my house inhaling strangers. I stared at the glowing exit sign and felt something settle in my chest, not fear, not grief, but clarity. I didn't call. I didn't yell. I shut off the feed and went back to my room. I ordered room service. I watched the ocean from the balcony and let the rhythm of the waves teach me patience. We weren't always enemies. When I first met her, she held my son's hand like it mattered. She brought wine, asked thoughtful questions, said she admired my independence. I remember thinking she truly saw me, a woman who raised a son alone, paid off a house through sheer determination, learned how to survive in silence. I opened my home to her because my son loved her, and because I believed love was enough to protect boundaries. I let them stay during renovations, then again when rent jumped. Small favors, temporary arrangements. She learned the house faster than I ever had, where the cameras blinked, which door stuck, which neighbors kept to themselves. I mistook comfort for respect. The signs were there. The way she talked about the space like it already belonged to her. The mail arriving with names I didn't recognize. The way my son wouldn't meet my eyes when I mentioned my vacation. I noticed everything. I filed it away. I smiled. The real proof came quietly, not from the cameras, though those were the punchline, but from paperwork. A half-filled change of address form on my desk. A text meant for someone else that popped up on our shared tablet. Once she's gone, we'll settle in. I felt the bruise form deep inside me, dark and heavy. But I didn't touch it. I planned. I extended my trip by 3 days. I called my lawyer from a lounge chair and asked questions like I was curious, not cornered. I pulled property records, updated access permissions, froze accounts tied to my address. I scheduled a locksmith for a full security upgrade. I emailed the HOA about unauthorized occupants. I saved the footage in a private folder and named it receipts. Then I booked a dawn flight home. They were celebrating when I walked in. My living room smelled like someone else's food. Shoes by the door that weren't mine. Her father asleep in my chair. Her mother settled into the guest room. My son stood in the kitchen, pale, caught between loyalty and reality. She turned when she saw me, and for half a second the mask slipped. Then she smiled. You're back early. I nodded. I was homesick. I didn't mention the boxes. I didn't mention the laugh. I let the house speak for me. At noon, the locksmith arrived. At 12:05, the HOA president knocked. At 12:10, my lawyer's assistant walked in carrying a folder thick enough to leave a mark on the table. I invited everyone to sit. I poured water. I pressed play. Her voice filled the room again, stripped of charm, the line about me being old, the plan, the assumption. Her parents' smiles vanished first. My son looked like he'd been punched from the inside. I kept my voice calm as I slid the documents across the table, notices, deadlines, trespass warnings, a clean timeline of consequences lined up like dominoes. This house isn't a prize, I said. It's a boundary. She tried to pivot, tears, apologies shaped like excuses. She reached for my hand like we were still family. I stood before she could touch me. You thought I wouldn't make a scene, I said softly. You were right, and that's when it landed, not with shouting, but with locks clicking into place. With the quiet authority of the law, with neighbors watching as movers undid their work. Her parents begged not for forgiveness, but for time. I gave them an hour. I'm not cruel. I'm precise. My son stayed after they left. He asked how long I'd known. I told him the truth, long enough to choose myself. Now the house is quiet again. My house, the cameras blink steadily. I sit in the chair that was taken and reclaimed, and I feel relief spread where betrayal once lived. They thought my silence meant weakness. They confused restraint with surrender. I didn't do this to hurt them. I did it to remember who I was. And I remember perfectly.